Most people trying to earn travel points are actually losing money, and they don't even realize it. They think they're being smart, signing up for cards, hitting bonuses, racking up points. But what's really happening? They're spending more than they normally would, carrying balances, and slowly breaking their budget. And the worst part is, it looks like it's working. Points are going up, trips look cheaper, but behind the scenes, they're paying for it in ways they don't even see. We almost made that exact same mistake. And if we didn't fix this one thing, the entire strategy would have collapsed. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we build points without increasing our spending, without breaking our budget, and without making the mistake that ruins this for most people. Let's break down what actually happens, because this is where most people lose control. You see a credit card offer, spend $4,000, get 75,000 points. And it sounds like a no-brainer. 75,000 points? That could be flights, that could be hotels, that could be a whole trip. So you think, why wouldn't I do this? But here's the problem. You weren't planning to spend $4,000. And now your brain does something dangerous. It starts to justify the spending. You tell yourself, I was going to buy that anyway. This will help me get the bonus faster. It's worth it because I'm getting points. And that's where it starts to slip. Because nothing feels wrong yet. You're not maxing out cards. You're not missing payments. You're not doing anything extreme. And that's exactly why this is dangerous. Because it feels controlled. But underneath that, your spending is increasing. Your habits are shifting and your budget is starting to stretch. And here's the part almost nobody catches. It looks like it's working. Your points are going up. You're getting closer to rewards. You feel like you're winning the system. But what you don't see yet is that it's costing you to get there. Because now you've spent more money than you normally would. You may be carrying a balance, or you've used money you needed elsewhere. And suddenly, those free points aren't free anymore. And here's where it gets worse. Because once you do this, it becomes a pattern. You finish one bonus, then you go to the next, then another, and now you're not building a system, you're chasing points. And this is where most people lose. Not because they don't understand points, but because they never built structure. Points don't make you money, structure does. And we almost fell into this exact trap. Because when you first start, it all looks easy, it all looks smart, and it all looks like it's working. But if you don't fix this early, you don't get ahead. You just spend differently. So we had to stop and completely change how we approach this. Not the cards, not the bonuses, but the structure. So after realizing how easy it is to fall into that trap, we had to stop completely. Not tweak it, not adjust it, stop and rebuild this the right way. Because if you don't fix the structure, it doesn't matter what cards you use. It doesn't matter how many points you earn. It breaks. Rule number 1, we never spend extra to earn points. And this sounds obvious, but it's where everyone fails. Because the second you say, it's okay, I'll just spend a little more to hit the bonus, you've already lost. That's not earning points, that's buying them. And most of the time, you're overpaying to do it. Rule number 2, one bonus at a time. No stacking cards, no juggling deadlines, no trying to hit 3 bonuses at once. Because that's where people spiral. You lose track, you overspend, you justify more purchases, and now you're right back in the trap. More cards doesn't mean more progress. It usually means more mistakes. Rule number 3, we match bonuses to real expenses, not random spending, real spending. So instead of asking, how do I hit this bonus? We ask, what do we already have to pay? Do we have cruise deposits coming, flights, insurance, normal bills, money that's already leaving our account? We just redirect it to that new card. And rule number 4 is the one that changes everything, timing. Because you can follow every rule, but if your timing is off, you still struggle. The card you use matters less than when you use it. So when you put this together, we're not chasing points. We're controlling spending. We're controlling timing. and we're controlling the outcome. And that's the difference. Because most people are reacting, we're planning. So now that the rules are all set, now we can talk about the part that actually makes this work. If you're trying to figure out how to actually use this without messing it up, make sure you hit subscribe, because this is exactly what we're breaking down step by step. This is the part that changes everything, and almost nobody talks about it, because most people think this is about what card you use, how many points you earn, but that's not what's driving the results. What actually matters is when you do it. Two people can use the exact same card, same bonus, same spending requirement, and get completely different results. One struggles, feels pressure to spend, rushes purchases, forces the bonus. The other hits the bonus easily, stays in control, and doesn't change their spending at all. Same card, different outcome. The difference isn't the card, it's the timing. Here's how most people do this. They see an offer, apply immediately, get approved, and then they figure out how to hit the spending. And now they're stuck. They don't have enough natural expenses. They start looking for things to buy. They justify the purchases. And you're right back in the trap that we just talked about. We do the exact opposite. We don't start with the card. We start with the spending. We look at what's coming up. Do we have cruise deposits coming, flights, insurance, big planned expenses? And then we apply. So instead of chasing spending, the spending is already there. We don't create spending. We just capture it the right way. And this is where it gets powerful, because now you're working inside of a window. You apply right before the spending hits. So when that expense happens, you're already set up to capture the bonus. No stress, no scrambling, no extra purchases. The bonus doesn't control you. You control when you hit it. When your timing is right, you hit bonuses naturally, you stay inside your normal budget, and you don't feel pressure. And most importantly, you stay in control. But when timing is off, you rush, you overspend, you justify purchases, and now you're not building a system, you're reacting. So when we're planning trips, we're not just thinking about where we're going. We're thinking about when we're paying for it. Because that's what determines whether we earn the bonus easily or struggle to hit it. The trip doesn't create the points. The timing does. If this is new to you, drop a comment and tell me, have you been applying first or planning first? So now you can see it's not about more cards, it's about control. And once you have that, now we can talk about how this actually plays out in real life. So let's make this real, because everything we just talked about only matters if it actually works. We're not doing anything complicated. We're not manufacturing spending, and we're not doing anything risky. We're just using the money we already planned to spend. Same money, different outcomes. Let's say we know we have a cruise coming up, for example. We already know there's going to be a deposit, there's going to be payments. So instead of paying it normally, we step back, look at the timing, look at the amount, and then choose the right moment to apply. So when that deposit hits, we're already set up. No scrambling, no extra spending, and no pressure. The bonus gets hit because the spending was already planned. And this is where it gets even stronger, because it's not just one expense. It's multiple things lining up. Flights, cruise deposits, insurance, regular bills, all inside the same window. And now you're not chasing a bonus, you're just absorbing it. And here's something that you don't expect. It feels easy. You're not checking your spending every day. You're not stressing about hitting a number, because it's already handled. The system is doing the work, not you forcing it. Now compare that to the other way. You apply first. Now you're watching every dollar. You're trying to hit the number. You're thinking about what else you can buy. And suddenly, it feels like pressure. And that's how people lose control. And this is exactly how we've been able to cover flights, cover hotels, and travel without increasing our budget. Not because we found some trick, but because we built a system. And this is why our budget actually works. Because we're removing the biggest expenses, Before the trip even starts, flights and hotels are gone. And when those are gone, everything else becomes manageable. If you're starting to see how this connects, drop a comment and tell me what's the biggest expense you want to cover first. So now you've seen the trap, the rules, the timing, and how it actually plays out. So let's talk about what this really unlocks and why this changes everything. Because most people don't fail because they don't understand the points. They fail because of how they use them. The first mistake is applying with no plan. You see an offer, you get excited, so you apply. And then you figure it out later, and that's backwards. Because now you don't have the spending lined up, you don't have timing aligned, you don't have control. So what happens? You start forcing it. If you have to figure out how to hit the bonus, you shouldn't have applied yet. The second mistake is trying to earn points fast. People think more cards equals faster progress. But what actually happens is more cards equals more pressure. More deadlines equals more stress. More spending equals more mistakes. And this is where people spiral. They're juggling multiple bonuses, trying to hit all of them, losing track and justifying spending. And now they're not building anything, they're just reacting. Speed doesn't build this, structure does. The third mistake is no plan for using the points. This one gets ignored, but it's expensive. You earn points, they sit there, you don't know how to use them, and then you end up redeeming them poorly. And now you've lost value. Because earning points is only half the system. If you don't use them correctly, you leave value on the table. And this is the one that nobody wants to talk about. Using points to justify your spending. You tell yourself, it's fine, I'm earning points. This helps me hit a bonus. It's basically free later. But that's not what's happening. That's not strategy. That's rationalizing. And this is where people quietly lose money without realizing it. Points don't cancel bad spending, they hide it. And the last mistake is confusing activity with progress. You're using cards, you're earning points, you're doing all the things, so it feels like you're moving forward. But are you actually saving money or just moving money around differently? Because if your spending goes up even a little bit, you didn't win, you just changed how you spend. So when you step back and look at this, these mistakes all come down to one thing: lack of structure. Not bad cards, not bad offers, bad timing, bad planning, and no control. So now you can see the difference between what most people are doing and what actually works. And once you fix this, everything changes. So now let's talk about what this actually does. Because this isn't about points, it's about what those points replace. Most people look at points like a reward, something extra, something nice to have. But that's not how this works. Points aren't the goal, they're the tool. And what they do is remove your biggest expenses. Think about any trip. What are the biggest costs? Flights, hotels? That's where most people lose control of their budget. So when those are covered, the entire trip changes. You're not trying to manage $1,500 in flights. You're not trying to manage $200 a night in hotels. Those are gone. So now what's left? Food, transportation, experiences, and those are manageable. You can control those. You can adjust those. But flights and hotels, those break your budget. We don't try to control everything. We remove what matters most. And this is exactly how we've been able to take these trips, book these cruises, and travel without increasing our spending. Not because we're spending more, because we're removing the biggest costs first. So think about your situation. If flights weren't a factor, what trips would open up? If hotels were covered, what would change for you? Because that's the real shift, not more travel, possible travel. And the reason most people never get here is because they break the system early. They overspend, chase bonuses, and lose control. And now the strategy stops working. This only works if you stay inside your normal spending. This only works if you control timing. This only works if you follow the structure. Because the moment you step outside of that, you lose the advantage. So when you look at this the right way, this isn't about hacking travel. It's about restructuring how you spend. And once you do that, travel stops feeling expensive and starts feeling manageable. We didn't find a way to spend less. We found a way to remove what costs the most. So now you've seen where people go wrong, what actually works, and what this unlocks. So the only question is, what do you do with it? So at this point, you've seen exactly how this works, where people go wrong, what actually works, and how to do it without increasing your spending. So now this comes down to a choice. You can keep doing what most people do, apply randomly, chase bonuses, hope it all works out, and maybe you earn some points, but your spending creeps up, your budget stretches, and the system never really works. Or you take control. You plan your spending, you control your timing, you build this like a system. And now the points actually work for you. Because this isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. And the difference between these two is everything. We don't spend more, we spend smarter. We don't chase points, we control when we earn them. And we don't hope this works, we build it so that it does. If you want to actually use this, not just understand it, make sure you subscribe, because this is exactly what we're doing, step by step, in real time. If you made it this far, I want to know, what is the first expense you'd use to hit a bonus? Drop it in the comments below, because that's where this all starts. If you want to look at the cards that we use, they're linked below. Take your time, see what fits, and build from there. But remember, the card isn't the strategy. And one more thing. If you're trying to take this even further, we also use cruise casino offers to reduce travel costs even more. But that's a completely different strategy, and I break that down on my other channel, Cruise Casino Secrets. So if you're interested in that side of it, you can check it out. But here's the part we haven't shown you yet, how we actually use these points, not just earning them, but how we turn them into flights, hotels, and real trips. Because if you get that part wrong, you lose most of the value. So in the next video, we're breaking that down step by step, exactly how we're using our points, what we're booking, and how much we're actually saving. Because this only works if you do it the right way. We'll see y'all in that next video. See you later. Bye.